Oh, here's your Backstage pass.
Quiet on the set.
Action!
Welcome to Sedona's Backstage Pass with Chandra, presented by the Doll Group. This is your inside look into culture, curators, and creative artists. And now, your host, Chandra.
Welcome, my VIPs. You've got your Backstage Pass, and you are in. Get ready for some behind-the-scenes stories that you'd never know about unless you tuned in here on Mellow Mountain Radio, 106.5 FM and 780 AM, and of course, streaming on mellowmountainradio.com, and later, Apple Podcasts, and soon to be posted on Spotify. Have I got a show for you today? It's a lot of fun. I want to get to our events calendar first. You know, it's August, and August is in Sedona. There's a lot going on that's ongoing. I mean, you can look it up. If you go to the Sedona Chamber of Commerce website, and I'm going to give that to you right now, that's the Greater Sedona Chamber of Commerce Tourism Bureau. Their website is visitsedona.com. Just go to /events-calendar, and you will see a lot of things that are ongoing here in Sedona, including in August when it's hot and when there's not a whole lot of tourists here. So, but there are wonderful things happening. If you go to SedonaArtCenter.org, you'll find out what the Sedona Arts Center is up to, and they always have wonderful showings. Definitely. And they always do a first Friday of every month where they will feature their artists and have sometimes live music. Sometimes I'm there playing music. Also, SedonaFilmFestival.com with movies on the move, which means they have this huge screen and they go to different venues like the Wild Resort and other places. So make sure you go to SedonaFilmFestival.com, see what they're showing at Mary Fisher Theater and their other theater, and also movies on the move. Always lots of fun things, including live concerts. Right. And then there's another one I want to tell you about, and that's the Community Library Sedona.org. They have ongoing classes going on like Zumba and different things like that, and a whole series of different events and lectures, all kinds of wonderful things, activities outdoors, which will be coming up in the fall. So those are some things to check out. Well, now it's time. It's time to say thank you to my presenting sponsor, the Doll Group, because Chef Lisa Doll is sitting right next to me. I'm so excited that you're back. Every time you come back, I get excited about this because you have the best stories and you create so many wonderful things. You are a grand manifester. Do you know that?
I didn't think of myself that way.
Come on.
But,
you are.
You
are
know,
a grand
positive thinking is something I'm really working on these days, which is if you really want something, you have a goal, you have to see it in your mind's eye. And, you know, I'm really working on that now with the foundation coming up and having our non-for-profit. So thank you for saying that.
You are. I mean, all you have to do is look around town. I mean, phenomenal restaurants. For those of you who live here, you all know the restaurants. You know, we talked last time about Cucina Rustica. We talked about Doll and DeLuca. That was the first one, Doll and DeLuca. Yes. Cucina was next. And we talked about Mariposa. You've got Pizza Lisa, which is phenomenal also. You have Butterfly Burger. My goodness. I mean, you're all over the map here. And I'm telling you, they're all wonderful. And you have manifested this. You brought everything that you knew about cooking. That's where it started. And your mom is a big influencer there as well. And of course, Justin. And today we're going to stir up the pot a little bit because I want to know about what it was like to be on that cooking show. You know, Bobby Flay. You were on that. I was so excited. Tom and I were so excited. I was taking pictures of the screen.
You're kidding.
Like, oh my God, there she is. I was taking tons and tons of pictures. Oh yeah. We've seen it twice. We watched it twice.
Well, you know, that is like the gift that just keeps giving.
It is.
Because it was rerun more than any show. I mean, even up to like a year ago, people were saying, oh, I just saw you again. So let's get the dirty work out.
Okay,
I didn't win, okay? But I did on many levels. So here's the good and the bad.
All right.
At the end, the judges said, we want you to know this is not a unanimous decision.
Right.
So there were reasons that I didn't tip his performance. Let's face it, he does have an edge, and there's no doubt. I don't begrudge that. But I learned so much from the experience. the bottom line also is when you see something that has been rerun that many times that caused that much interest and conversation. So many times I'll see someone in a restaurant and they'll say, "We think you really did win." I really didn't for certain reasons. And it taught me more when I bring back my own experience into grilling, what I look for now when I train, when I teach new people. Most important thing is the control of the heat, the flame, the fire source. In this case, I was asked to do a particular burger that I'm used to doing over live flame, like I do at Butterfly or at Mariposa, which is grilling on wood. That's the toughest of any. But in this case, it was flat grills. And those flat grills had been on for hours, I imagine, for several reasons. One, to throw you off your game.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. This is
It's
a
TV
competition.
show. Yes, and it is a TV show. And we have to remember that.
It is. And everybody knows that. And that's what fascinates people. But as a person that has to take my licks, if I were to do another show like that, which I don't plan to because competitive cooking is not what I'm about.
Yes.
Although I've
I've
won a couple things in my life.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like the burger battles in Scottsdale, and that's another story. But when you do it, you have to learn something from how or why you didn't succeed. And it's the flame, the heat. So if I did it tomorrow, first thing I would do is go and look underneath at my heat regulation and adjust them lower.
See, this is stuff we don't know about. This is why I wanted to talk to you about this, because this is the coolest thing ever. We see the show, and I always wonder about things like, how do you remember all these ingredients? Like if it was something that you were putting together in a big way, right? Like how do they remember? In your case, here you are, you're on Bobby Flay, and it's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Oh, I'll be honest with you, it was the scariest thing I've probably ever done on TV.
I tip my hat to you. This is not easy.
It took a little bit of cojones, as they say.
You bet it did. And then here's the other thing, which I really think is important, to note, that your being on that show was a huge success. It was. It's come back around, like you said. Not only has it been rerun many, many times. Like I said, Tom and I saw it twice. I still see it, coming up.
Yes.
But how many people saw it and how many people were interested in this? This is kind of publicity you could never pay for.
You got it on the head, Shonda.
It is absolutely fabulous. So regardless of whether you won or you didn't win, this is nothing.
It's true.
That's like nothing in comparison to what the gift was of being on that show.
100%. And honestly, I went on as a curiosity. I have to tell you, I was scared to death.
I can only imagine.
I don't know how much it showed, but there's so many things that are fascinating because, they get you all fired up. And I came out with that they say, be mean and be like fearless and all this.
Yes.
So you get all psyched up and your adrenaline really raises.
Right.
But you get out there in that kitchen, and you've seen that kitchen for very few minutes before. You've never been in the kitchen. They don't invite you 2 weeks before. Oh, come and take a look at the kitchen. That would be cheating.
Exactly.
So it's all new. It's all scary. You're like, where's my this for my chimichurri? Where's the fryer? Where's this?
Yeah, you never looked that way.
Really?
You're so calm.
Oh, you're kidding.
And so cool. And so Lisa, Chef Lisa Duh.
Oh, I
was
didn't
like
feel that way
going like,
inside.
oh my God, Chef Lisa's on this show. Oh no, you were really, very professional.
Well, that's
very well
good
put
to know.
together. What's going on in your mind? That may have been different, but boy, you did not show it. And that's an art into itself,
Well, you're a performer and you
have to keep your
if you
cool.
don't have butterflies inside, you aren't going to be great no matter what it is.
That's
and
right.
I was taught that years ago. You got to feel some
some excitement, right?
Of course.
It's how you channel it.
That's right.
And how you come off when people are watching you, because it's for them, right? Exactly. And this is no different. But boy, the pressures of a competition. So now I want to also talk to you about the James Beard experience.
Yes.
Mike. Oh, I do have to ask one more question about that.
Of course. Yes.
Did you have a chance to talk to him?
I did talk with him, of course. It's very, very brief. As a matter of fact, it's like kind of little, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's a bit slam bam, thank you, ma'am, kind of thing, because he is so busy.
Yeah, they don't have time. It's a
that's
TV
right.
show.
So they've condensed many episodes into a shorter series. And so they're back to back with their episodes in a shorter period of time, meaning several months.
Yes.
So he's seeing people over and over. He did express some warmth, which I know he doesn't exude to the public. They don't see him to be a nice guy. He's not like a kissy, huggy kind of dude. He is very, what you see is what you get.
Yeah. He seems nice enough, you know.
He is nice enough.
You know.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
was it fun, like being on the set with all the cameras and all this? I know it's a lot of pressure.
Well, you do a tremendous amount of pre-prep in your backstory and things like that. So you start in one little room, and then you go to another little room, and then there's then you have your first challenger, which I won that first.
Yes,
with
you
that
did.
some kind of a Korean rib that I never made in my life. So I somehow managed to get
Unbelievable.
through that thing. And then so you're an entire day for the most part doing different things.
So how long is that shoot? Like, how long were you on that set?
On the actual physical set, I would say no more than an hour. So you
Oh
have
my
40
gosh.
minutes.
Oh.
And what happened, is just an inside tip so people know, is that I had been planned to do full burgers for a long time. So when you start the process, they're asking you all kinds of things. First, they're looking at your Italian background. Do you want to do an eggplant parmesan? Do you want to do a seafood pasta? And then they fit you into what they need. So they asked me to do the burger that I won the Scottsdale Burger Battle with, which was the Gringo, which is now a Butterfly Burger. And they had researched me,
Yes.
and they knew about the Scottsdale Burger Battles. So they said, will you do your Gringo Burger? I'm like, damn, this is going to be a slam dunk. This is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make full-size burgers. Well, in that burger are many components of layers that make it what it is. You have the crispy onion strings. You have the aioli that makes the sauce. You have the different components of things. You have all the proprietary things we do. In a full burger, you could get that done in 40 minutes. You'd still be like,
Right.
But in this case, at the very end, let's say about a week before, they said, oh, we just did a burger thing. Could you do yours as sliders? Well, this had gone on for months, and I said, okay. But I knew once I started testing it in that last week before you get on the plane to go, this is going to be very difficult because now you have to be very nimble. You have to have 12 sliders, not 4 big burgers. And so everything now is, I'm cutting the buns. I've got to butter the buns. I've got to make the sauce. It was a rat
Unbelievable.
race.
Yeah,
It's a rat
unbelievable.
race.
I mean, it's so interesting to hear all that. Yeah, because we don't know what's going on. But did you stop and go a lot? I mean, did they stop and go?
No, you don't
You're
stop
just-
and go.
you're
It's
on?
the real deal.
Holy
Oh, no,
Toledo.
that is, you don't stop
Oh.
and go. It's not edited in that way.
Oh,
Zero
that's-
chance. And I
that's
do want to
amazing.
tell you something. I'm asked to be on those type of shows. I was fortunate recently to be asked on 2 very next level of those type of shows.
Great.
I didn't want to decline, but I did. And the reason is it doesn't fit with my philosophy. I don't think that our culinary world is better because we're trying to beat out the next guy and because of how fast can you cook. As a matter of fact, the slow cooking is what I've always been, immersion. And it isn't, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't be scared if I were on one of them. I don't want to mention, but I have had this recently. It wouldn't fit with how I feel inside that cooking is an art and taking your time. And if you start to see if you can beat your competitors, then you're putting adrenaline into something that is not
Yeah.
about the pure way that I
Yes.
want to be known.
Yeah, you know, you bring up a really good point. You bring up a great point. The food that you're making has your intention.
Yes.
The intention of love and the sense of nurturing. And then when you're rushing like that and there's a sense of competition and all that, that's like a whole different vibe. So I get it. Now I want to ask you. You did a dinner, a James Beard.
2.
Please tell us what this was. What was the first one like? You know, you've already done one, so we know when you went back, it might be like, okay, I know where I'm going here. But the first one, what was that experience like in New York? My goodness.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. There's we could do an entire 2 segments on what that is like. And the sad part is that what it was like doesn't exist now. So there is some real relevance to this in terms of that James Beard House dinners no longer exist. So at that point in time, being asked as a little known, if at all, chef from Sedona, Arizona was such a privilege, and I'll treasure it for the rest of my life.
What year was that, by the way?
I don't remember, and Scott would be able to tell us, but I believe that there were two. I think one was 2012, which was Italian, and it was that one that is why they asked if I wanted, and it was sold out, and it was why they asked me to come back and allowed me to do a preemptive Mariposa fusion menu when the restaurant did not exist physically. So they said that no chef had ever been allowed to demo a dinner that they had not already performed in the physical. And so it was even an extra special. But here's the thing I did, and you don't get to do this on Bobby Flay. We went there, and they allowed this. We inspected the kitchen because every chef that has ever cooked there knows that their knees are knocking together because they hear about this notorious kitchen, which is a size smaller than this room that we're sitting in right now.
Goodness.
And it's haunted with the memories of all the incredible things that happened when James Beard was alive. But this was not a fancy place. There's so much to this. I went. I inspected the kitchen. We saw the dining room, and I'll never forget what Scott did mostly. But we prepared all placemats and everything with all of the accoutrement, like what is the arrangement going to be on the table? What are our votives going to look like? We met at one point when we finally got there for the actual one of two. We met the staff that would be serving. It is such a privilege.
How many days did that take before the actual dinner?
Well, we went in advance, and then we came back, and we put together the menu based on logistics. Here's the tricky part. I ship a portion of the things that you cannot have the time. You only get in there in the morning, sweetie. You don't get in there days in advance. They have different events nightly. Some are there charitable. It's all for charity, as you know.
This sounds like pressure to me, too.
Are you kidding?
God. I mean, it had
People
to have been
are hysterically freaked out about it. You're having all these people come that you don't know. I'm not like a Manhattan chef that was known by everybody for their restaurant there. The fact that we were sold out the first and oversold the second performance.
That says
they
everything.
Oversold. When I say that, they opened up the top tier loft that you had to walk up all this giant old ancient staircase. The servers, there's no elevator. That you had to walk up that third because we had like 90 people and it only takes about 70. So they opened up a room, and there was a company, I don't know what kind of a marketing company, but they had read about it and they wanted to have their company dinner there. So it was amazing. So you pair the wines. We need our wine specialists. We pair the cocktails that we're going to start. Each dinner is different. And one day it would really be fun to talk about the menus because the research that went into this was unbelievable. But I took a crew with me from Sedona, which you have to. And that, believe it or not, I took Mercer.
You did?
And he always thanks me for that. It was such an amazing...
Mercer is another chef here in town who has several restaurants also. And I just love the fact that you did that.
I took him.
Great.
We were early on. So the preparation is daunting. But when you understand that when you have to get into the mechanics of we're going to take certain things and take them with us, frozen. Now, nowadays, with all the airline stuff, you couldn't do what we did. But you're also taking certain products like you're flash freezing and you're shipping them. Oh, the FedEx. Honey, you pay for everything in a James Beard dinner.
They didn't
Zero.
Help you
They don't, let me pay for your FedEx. No. So we're FedExing certain things, and then for 3 days in advance, I'm foraging in Manhattan. Back in those days, I'm going to Italy to get blah, 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 to get something that would be ridiculous to ship but that you need. So the layering, and someday I will show you, even if it's just on a personal basis, the books that I wrote for my menu because I found them recently.
Oh, gosh.
And where am I going to get this? And what is this source? And what time does this get prepped? Because you get in there early in the morning and then you go home, change, and come back and the show is on, baby.
Oh.
And they're lining up and they're coming in and they come through you in the kitchen while you're still cooking and they start the tapas or the antipasto. And they have drinks and they are feeling no pain. And my appetizers, my starters in each meal were phenomenal. I'm going to go back to my office and look at my notes. But what a fun thing. It was fun,
Wild.
scary, but something that doesn't exist now. Now it's at the Chelsea Market and things. I believe it isn't even like in the house.
Amazing. And I got to tell you, and I love it when you're here because you have so many great stories and you're going to be back because you're here every month as presenting sponsor, even on those extra Saturdays, you're here. And I just want to remind everybody, make sure you go to Chef Lisa Dahl. Remember, it's DAHL.com, cheflisadahl.com. There, you can shop for 2 books that you have. Gotcha. We've run out of time again. I can't believe how fast it goes. But I'm going to leave everybody with that. And Lisa, you will come back. And I want you to share some recipes and more great stories.
Love
These
it.
stories are so awesome.
And if you'd like, I will even have my menus from that because we created our own books and everything. They told us no one ever did the preparation we did. So what I'd like to do is bring that and maybe we can have people that are foodies out there salivating.
I love that. I'm already salivating. I know. So thank you, everybody. Stay with me. We'll be right back. Thank you, Chef Lisa Dahl.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You can taste it in every bite. For over 30 years, Chef Lisa Dahl has redefined what it means to dine in Sedona, serving soulful, handcrafted cuisine inspired by love, artistry, and community. From the wood-fired kitchens of Mariposa to the couture flair of Butterfly Burger, every experience is elevated, every ingredient intentional. To learn more about Lisa Dahl and the Dahl restaurants, please visit cheflisadahl.com.
Need a clean car fast? Come to Quicker Cleaner Car Wash. We'll have you sparkling and back on the road in just minutes. Whether you're after a quick shine or a deep clean, you'll get top quality service, eco-friendly soaps, and smiles all around. Drive up, shine up, and feel good, all without slowing down your day. And look like a star in your car. Located in West Sedona on Highway 89A. For more information, visit quickercleanercarwash.com.
Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Chandra, presented by the Dahl Group.
Thank you for staying with me. I'm going to tell you, if you don't know this gal, my next guest, you're going to know her now, and that is Lisa Bell Benedetto. And let me just tell you a little bit about her before I say the official hi, which she is an accompanist, a pianist, piano teacher. She's a composer, a performer. She's had 30 years in this business professionally, and I am so happy to have you on my show. Lisa Bell Benedetto, welcome.
Well, thank you, Chandra. I'm so happy to be here.
You are quite the player. I think you know every song. Really?
Well, I know a lot.
I'll say.
Yes.
Because I remember recently seeing you, and I walked over to you, and I was like, oh, how about this song? And how about that song? And you just like playing it all out there. No lead sheets, nothing.
No. Well, one time in California,
yes,
I played a Peterbilt convention. It was their 50th anniversary. Reba McEntire was signing. I played for 3 days, 7 hours a day, and I never repeated a song.
Oh.
That was my goal.
Oh, my gosh. Mission accomplished.
Yes.
I don't even know how you do that. That's incredible. I know that you've worked in different situations and, of course, as a solo pianist as well.
Yes.
Because you're also a singer.
Correct.
And you also have a Carole King tribute that you've done.
Correct, with my husband, Greg.
Yes, he's quite an excellent singer. He's with a singing group. Is it the
Very Voices? The Very Voices.
Very
yes,
Voices.
Yes.
He's
and
excellent.
actually, we got to meet Carol and James because we did one of those VIP things when they were doing the tribute.
Ooh.
concert.
When was
Not
that?
tribute. About 7-8 years ago.
Oh my goodness,
It was
that had to
pretty
have been thrilling.
Oh my God.
Was that just outstanding? I mean, really? I mean, those
we were
two?
in the front. We were like touching them practically, and we got to meet them.
Wow.
And get signatures on the Tapestry album. Where the grooves are all worn out.
Right, I had that record, and I have to say, it's probably all scratched up now. It's one of the ones I kept because I used to listen to it all the time as a teenager.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And I know you're a composer. You have 3 CDs out under the name of Lisa Bell.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you can find those on Amazon, and I will mention those CDs. Soulscapes, that was your first CD.
Correct.
And then A Grand Affair with a beautiful picture of you on top of the CD there. And then Facets.
Yes.
And they can get it at Amazon.com
I believe so.
or Amazon Music, too.
I'll have to double check.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. This is good. Sometimes it's kind of like, okay, I gotta refresh, So just tell me, what has it, first of all, I just want to know, when did you get the bug for music? Did you grow up with music?
Do you know something? We grew up, our household was always very, very musical, but I feel like I didn't choose music, it chose me.
Okay.
It was so innate that at 3 years old, I would sit at the bench with my mother. She would be playing, and I would say, show me, show me. So at 4 years old, they enrolled me for piano lessons at the Cleveland Institute of Music.
Wow. Is that where you were born?
In Cleveland, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So there you are, 3 and 4,
Yes.
and you're asking to learn. It is in you. You already know.
Right. And I studied classical music, which was fabulous because to have that foundation is so important. And yet my teacher knew that wasn't my first love because I was always playing all the pop songs off the radio and I was writing my own songs. And, especially I love Broadway shows.
Oh, yeah. I have to say, you are a phenomenal player. Everything is very full. And it's hard to find a pianist in this area, by the way. I know Steve Sander, if you're listening to this. Steve was with us for many, many years. He's now in Michigan. And he's like you. He plays everything, and he's a really good reader. And with a classical background, he's really more of a jazz artist now. So let me ask you, you go into traditional classical music, and how long did you actually learn from instructors? Like how
Through
many years?
college. Through college. I went to the University of Southern California.
Wow.
And continued my lessons, even though I was doing pop and Broadway and jazz and writing my own music.
Right. So when you were going to school, you were also gigging?
A little bit. Not a lot of it, a little bit.
A little bit. So
A little bit.
When did that kick in?
It kicked in really after I graduated. In my early 20s, somebody said, the Marriott is looking for a pianist. And that was the one right by the airport. And I auditioned and I got the 5 to 9 slot, which was awesome because I met so many people.
Of course.
And people that repeat customers, they would come for a whole week and they would love to see a familiar face.
This is in Los Angeles?
This is in LA.
I know the Marriott you're talking about.
Do you?
I do.
It's right by the airport.
I love it.
It was great.
And for those of you listening, working as a solo artist, I did it for years. It has its own kind of thing going on. There's some wonderful things that happen, and there's some crazy things that happen, right?
Oh, my God.
What was the craziest thing that ever happened to you working as just a solo artist?
Oh, my gosh.
I know there's so many stories, right?
There's so many, but, it's really funny because once I got that agent, he would put me in different places for different parties. And he says, I need you to go to the Le Mondrian in Beverly Hills and play a private cocktail party for 1 hour, which I did. And I was young and I'm there playing and it was like a black tie. People were in tuxes.
Right.
And some man gravitated towards the piano. And he started talking to me and I'm playing and I'm sort of making things up because we're having this intense conversation. Halfway through, he starts sitting on the bench, but he's not being forward or sleazy or anything like I also have had.
Yes.
And we're talking. And I was playing 1 hour. At the end, I stood up. My parents were in the lobby visiting from Cleveland, and we were going to go out to dinner. And I said, well, it's really been lovely talking to you. My name is Lisa Bell. And he goes, Lisa, nice to meet you. I'm Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh, Okay.
And I don't know what my face did at that point, because obviously I knew who he is, but
Oh
I
my
didn't put the
gosh.
face.
You didn't put
with
it
that.
together.
I didn't put
And
it
he
together.
loved you.
Oh my God. And I went out and I told my parents, I was like, I can't believe what just happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty crazy.
That had to be.
It was.
No, I know. It is a wild thing when you see it. And he was right there.
Oh, he was
next
like
to you
sitting right
and
next
enjoying
to
it.
me, and we were just having a conversation. And maybe because he didn't think that he knew I didn't know who he was at the time.
Yes.
I wasn't starstruck.
No, I know.
Not till after the fact.
It was probably refreshing for him. I'm sure it was.
probably
For me, I
was.
would have been like, oh my gosh. No, I mean, yeah, it would have been
Right.
cavelling.
But I did have a lot of opportunities where I was playing for a lot of celebrities.
So tell me about that. Tell us about who you've played for.
Well, I
played-
did a 6-month gig up in Aspen, Colorado when I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to think, close to 30 years old. And I went there and I thought, well, it'll be fun. So I was playing at a private health club.
Okay.
Where like Don Johnson was a member and I knew John Denver was a member. And one evening I was playing, and it's sort of like a sunken living room. And I could see that John Denver was in the crowd.
Oh my gosh.
But what I thought was so special was when he walked out, he had to go, there was this landing on the stairway. He stopped. He waited till he got my attention. He took off his hat and dipped it and acknowledged me.
How lovely. How
It
lovely.
was really special.
Yeah, it is, because I would think that somebody like John Denver would get it. He really understood the struggle. I mean, when you're working, for those of you who are listening, when you're working as a solo artist, most of the time you are background music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are people that applaud and all of that, but it's a very hard gig. There are times when you're working parties, and I know you've done this a million times.
A million.
And so have I, where nobody applauds. They're just talking, and they're enjoying it, yes, but there's no feedback. There's
Correct.
nothing. And this might go on for 2 to 4 hours, and it is difficult. You go home, you're a little drained, right?
Yes. Sometimes you're drained. However, when it involves singing and sing-alongs,
Yes, that's different.
then it's different.
Right.
Because there's a whole different energy, and it's sort of like a win-win situation.
It is, because you're involved. You get them involved. It's fun.
And the vibrations.
Yes.
The musical vibrations, people don't realize that when you sing, you feel good.
That's
and
so
it's
true.
healthy for your body, too.
I know, it is. And
very
singing is good for you and all of that. And so now, what is the most, let me ask you, were you ever in a pit? Did you ever play in an orchestra?
Oh, that was an embarrassing situation.
Oh, what happened?
Yes, it was not good.
No, what happened?
Well, it was in Cleveland, and it was for one of the Broadway shows that were coming through. But
Okay.
they lost the synthesizer player. But see, they didn't want me playing piano. They had me on the synthesizer playing strings. Now, and then there would be like 100 blank measures, and you didn't know where to come in, and there were no lyrics and no guidance. It was somewhat of a nightmare.
That's difficult.
when you're not playing. I mean, I think string players, it's a whole different ball game.
That's right. It is.
And
It's
the
a different
phrasing,
approach.
well, it's a different phrasing. You have to
Yes.
gently go, and you can't just attack it.
No, you can't do that. Yeah, that had been hard. So what was your favorite of all time that really stands out for you? A job, a gig, a show?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. This really, it shows the unity of our world. I was on a safari in Africa.
Okay.
With there might have been 20 people in our group. And we were staying at a hotel, actually the Kenya Safari Club, and they had a piano. We were all sitting there, and the piano had a black key that kept turning, and so somebody kept turning it back for me. And we were playing and we were singing. There was a group of about 20 people from Scandinavia that started joining in with us. This entire time, I noticed a gentleman over in the corner sitting, just glowing. He didn't participate, but he was just glowing. And for an hour, this went on. And when we stopped, I walked over and introduced myself. And he said to me, and I've never forgotten this, I want you to know this is the first time I've smiled since my wife died 9 months ago.
Oh, my gosh. See how music just You
it
touched
just
him. It wasn't just music. It was your music and all that you had brought to it.
And brought to this whole room, bringing
Wow.
people from all over together. But I've never forgotten them. That was over 30 years ago.
You know, that brings up another point to me. What do you say to people who are performing, for those of you who are traveling or even locally, if you come into a place where there is a musician, say something nice. It is really important because you have always remembered that, and it matters, doesn't it?
It does matter. It
It
stays
does.
with you.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the rewards that are invaluable.
I know. I love that. I'm so happy that happened for you because I know you're such a great player.
Oh, you're so sweet.
No, it's just the truth. You know, it's the truth.
Well, you're a fabulous performer yourself.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you. So 30 years in this business,
Actually, by now it's probably even more.
right, but we started when we were 5.
Well, yes. We really did. Because you know what? Every party my parents had at their home, I had to come down and play.
Don't you love that? You know, I have to tell you, there was a time, and I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but where, you know, you're working, you're performing, and then you're like, ugh. And then you're like, wait a second, this is supposed to be fun. And then you remember, like I remember saying to myself, Chandra, don't you remember when you would bring everyone into the living room? And that feeling of wanting to share and show and be there and give something, that's why we do it, isn't it?
Oh my God. It's in our blood.
It is.
And I noticed that when I don't do it for a long time, it's like you're almost depressed or something because you need to share your music. I feel like that's why I was put on this earth, to share the music as a healing tool too.
Right. Oh, totally. Yeah, because music is that. And speaking of that, you've done some healing work with your music, haven't you? Done some meditation CDs?
I do. I've done music therapy with hospice clientele.
Tell us about that. That, I have to say, that is quite a service.
That and also memory care, because I've noticed that I've gone to places where they told me that the patient had not spoken for like a year or so. And yet when I started singing a song from their generation, they started singing the words.
Oh my gosh.
And it's because it's the last thing to go in dementia or Alzheimer's. And for hospice, it's just when you're singing the songs of their era, it brings so many beautiful memories up.
Plus, it just relaxes the nervous system.
It does.
I mean, truly, music is amazing.
People don't realize that when somebody's, let's say, worked up and their heartbeat is raised, you can use music. You match them where they are, and you start slowing it down, and it helps to relax them.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And I always say that music is an international language. Because you just go ahead and hand someone a piece of music, you're right there. Or if you're listening to somebody, and let's say a singer, speaking in a different language, you may not be able to speak that language, but you can feel the emotion, right? The music.
And it's funny how American music tends to be very international. It's everywhere. I've sat down when I've traveled in many restaurants and started playing, and people, even if they don't know the words, like you said, they're like humming along. And if they do know the words, they're singing.
Exactly. Now, have you ever accompanied somebody who was a singer and spoke a different language?
Oh boy, probably. I'm trying to think. I've been accompanist for a gazillion
I can imagine.
soloists, and I love it because you're learning new music all the time. You're sight reading, you're transposing, and occasionally, like I've had people who would be singing in Hebrew.
Oh, I love that.
You know, or French, especially if you're working with operatic students or performers. They're singing in Italian or Latin,
beautiful,
or French,
beautiful. And so, yes, and as you said, an accompanist. For those of you listening, it is a different gig. You are breathing with the singer. You are with the singer as this net, if you will, like really framing what they're doing. Some singers have issues with timing. Boy, a good accompanist is breathing and moving right with them, and they know exactly how to do that. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. And you
Firsthand.
know something? If they forget that we were going to add a measure or take out a measure, you just match where they are.
I love that. There is for me,
Yes.
there is nothing better than a phenomenal pianist who's an accompanist. You know, not every pianist feels that way about accompanying singers. You know, that
I
they
know.
don't want to do it, some of them. So it's good to know. Good to know for the future, too, you know. Love to be on a stage with you.
It's fun to interact and have that collaborative effort when you're working with somebody. Just like after being a solo pianist for so many years, and then at a Unity Church in Cleveland, Ohio, I had the opportunity to work with the band.
Yes.
And that gave me so much other freedom because I didn't have to keep the beat and the tempo.
Yeah.
And I could do a lot of improvising, which is another favorite thing of mine to do.
What is your very favorite genre that you love to play? I know you love it all.
I love everything. I love everything. I mean, I really love Broadway.
Right.
And then I love the music of the 70s. I was definitely a Carole King fan and Carly Simon.
Oh, of all the people I listened to. You had James Taylor and Cat Stevens.
And then a little bit of the folky kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But I also love to improvise and make things up according to my mood or the mood of the room, which is something that I do a lot for people who are either doing spoken meditations where I play music underneath them.
Love
creating a bed of
Yes.
music to help.
The ambiance.
Yes.
Wonderful. And have you ever played for dancers?
I have. For like a dance class.
Yes,
or something
that
like
is
that.
an experience.
That is really fun.
What is that
actually.
like?
Oh my God, to play for like a ballet class and do some of the waltzes when things are in 3/4. Yes.
And what about jazz trios? Have you done any work with jazz?
Jazz, but not, there's hardcore jazz like
Yes.
Oscar Peterson and things
Right.
like that. I am not a hardcore jazz player.
Right.
But I love to jazz up certain songs, like some of the standards that we play.
And boy, do you have to know composition to know that. You really do. I mean, you have to know your theory inside and out.
Oh, I love theory.
Don't you
know
love theory?
something? I love theory. It's very mathematical.
It is.
And math was always my strongest subject.
Okay, math was always my worst subject.
That is so
and
funny.
I always
You're
say
really
that
good.
if somebody would have shown me back then that music is actually algebra, right? I was terrible with algebra. If my teacher looked at me and said, and he was actually teaching me after the class, he looked and he said, I got to tell you, your math skills are nil. Can you imagine someone saying that? Now, here's the thing. If I'd had a music teacher at that time teaching me math, I would have gotten it. I would have gotten it.
You know something?
Yeah.
It's fun to teach theory because you could almost sing it to them or you give them chances to play it or drum it or whatever.
Right. I love teaching it now. I know it now. I didn't have a good teacher with theory when I started piano as a child. I was late getting into the theory, but you teach it.
I do, and I love chord progressions and things like that.
Oh, that's
But one
great.
time, it's interesting, one time somebody asked me if I would teach improvisation. I said, you know something? I don't know how to teach improvisation. It just is in me.
But that's because you have learned so well. You've got a good foundation of that, of
To
all
me,
that you learned. I just think it's in you.
It's
because
in me, and it's also in my ear.
It's in your ear,
It's
and you
in
know
my
where
ear.
everything is.
Right.
That's
but
another
I don't
thing.
think it out.
No.
It just happens.
Which is, by the way, improv. We don't plan or think.
Mm-hmm.
But musically, boy, you really have to know where you are on that keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But, the piano for me, especially my one at home, I have a grand piano.
Of
a
course you do.
6-foot grand. And it's like an extension of my body.
My gosh.
When I'm playing it, we are one.
I love that. So I have to ask, what was the most expensive piano you've ever performed on? Because I'm sure there have been. I mean, have you worked on a Steinway?
Oh, yeah.
Millions of times, right?
Millions of
Probably.
Steinways. But, it's interesting because people say, oh, I have to play a Steinway or I have to play this and that. And there's good Steinways and there's bad Steinways. There's good and bad of every piano. I know people like Bosendorfers. I've only played a Bosendorfer once. Baldwins, some are really difficult action.
Yes.
And some are bright and wonderful. And I always say it kind of depends what I'm doing. When I'm recording, I love to play on a Yamaha Grand, because it cuts through.
Love that.
You know,
You're amazing. You're a wealth of musical information. And if anybody is looking for piano classes, private teaching, you definitely want to get a hold of Lisa Bell Benedetto. And I'm going to give you her website, which is Belladetto, BELLADETTO.com. belladetto.com, and there you can contact Lisa and ask her about piano lessons. I often have people asking about piano lessons. I'm going to send them to you. Absolutely. And of course for gigs, birthday parties, anniversaries, anything that you've got going on. You want some beautiful background music or singing and sing-alongs and all different kinds of music. You definitely want to get a hold of Lisa Bell Benedetto. Thank you so much for being here. The time just went by.
it did. I really enjoyed this, Chandra.
Really? Oh, and I want to mention, remember, her CDs are on Amazon. Soulscapes, A Grand Affair, and Facets. Lisa Bell. That's how you'll find her there. And thank you, Lisa, so much for being here.
Thank you, Chandra.
You'll have to come back.
I'd love to.
Okay. Everybody, I hope you'll come back, because I'll be right back.
You've explored the trails, stood in awe of the red rocks. Now, discover how Sedona became Sedona. The Sedona Heritage Museum tells the story of Red Rock country, from ancient cultures to today's vibrant community. It's interactive, family-friendly, and open year-round, indoors and out. Sedona Heritage Museum, preserving and sharing the soul of Red Rock country. Plan your visit at sedonamuseum.org or call 928-282-7038.
Take a deep breath, then let it go. At Sedona's New Day Spa, your escape begins the moment you arrive. Enjoy luxurious massages, rejuvenating facials, and native-inspired body treatments. Every moment is designed to restore balance and renew your spirit. Voted Sedona's Best Day Spa, this is more than self-care. It's your sanctuary. Book your experience today at SedonaNewDaySpa.com or call 928-282-7502.
When your project demands precision, experience, and trust, turn to Sefton Engineering Consultants. From expert civil engineering to construction management, we deliver real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With over 30 years in the business, Luke Sefton's team is committed to getting your project done right, on time, and on budget. Sefton Engineering Consultants. Reliable, experienced, personal. Learn more at SeftonEngineeringConsultants.com.
Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Chandra, presented by the Dahl Group.
What a great show. I mean, Chef Lisa Dahl and, of course, Lisa Bell Benedetto. Do you hear that music? You know what that means. That is time for my shameless Chandra spot. Here we go. If you've been using your VIP pass, then most likely you've heard about my creative partner, Emmy Award-winning writer Dev Ross, and myself here, that we have taken 6 years to work on a movie, and we finally did it. We finally produced it. And I want to give out a bunch of shout outs, because this was intense. We had a lot of pre-production, of course. We started our shoot with rehearsals that started on July 15th through the 24th. That included the 6-day movie shoot. And we had 30 people on our team. And I just want to say it was an amazing experience. Now, I have to tell you, we did our movie shoot at the Sedona Charter School. So a big shout out and thank you to the administrator there, Amy Foltz, for gifting us not only the beautiful music room, but also that classroom for our wardrobe, makeup, hair crew. Later on, it was there set up for catering and another part of the room. And thank you, Amy Foltz at Sedona Charter School. And while I'm mentioning big thank yous, I also have to mention the folks that helped us and gifted to us catering for our lunches. So here we are. We had, for the rehearsals, 4 days, we had the yummy and delicious lunches from a beautiful restaurant here in Sedona called Chocolate Tree. So thank you guys so much for that. And for our movie shoot from July 19th through the 24th, Gerardo Mosseri, the owner of Gerardo's Pizzeria, gifted us delicious lunches for over 30 people. And I want to thank you, Gerardo, for that. Gerardo's Pizzeria, And Chocolate Tree, thank you for all those beautiful lunches. And my dear friend, Al Camello, he picked up and delivered each meal. And by the way, he took all the silverware, all of the plates, took them home, put them in his dishwasher, and came back the next day. It was pretty amazing. So thank you, Al Camello. Also, our water that kept us hydrated, I should say, was Sedona Waterworks. So thank you, Sedona Waterworks, for all that water for 10 days. And we had so many wonderful volunteers that drove people back and forth to all the other places that people were staying from being out of town. They were hosted by several friends who gave up their homes for them and showed them a very nice time while they were here. And a few other things here. Larry Kane, he's a wonderful photographer. He literally came out every day for 10 days and shot photographs. He said to me, I have shot 1,000 photos each day for 10 days, and we're now getting those, and he's just giving them to us. And we had 10 production assistants, including 2 of my students, and they are Mingus Union High School students, so thank you so much. And James Ball, the drama and music teacher, who is also in the movie, he gave us his fog machine so we could use that for special effects. So big shout out of thank yous to everybody who helped us with Weird Detention. By the way, if you want to know more about it, visit weirddetention.com. Well, thank you so much for tuning in again. I really appreciate it. I love doing this. And I just want to thank my sponsors of Sedona's Backstage Pass: Sedona Heritage Museum, Sefton Engineering, Cleaner Quicker Car Wash, Sedona New Day Spa, and my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Group. And of course, my guests today, I just love them, Chef Lisa Dahl and the wonderful musician Lisa Bell Benedetto. Thank you both for being here. And my engineer and my producer, Ryan Thompson, and the owner of KAZM Mellow Mountain Radio, Chuck Helstein. You guys rock. Thank you so much. And I'm going to sign off right now, but I'm going to tell you, get your VIP pass and get back here next Saturday. A matter of fact, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Mellow Mountain Radio, 106.5 FM and 780 AM. And also you can listen to the show streaming live on mellowmountainradio.com. And later in the same place, you'll find all kinds of archives of all my shows and on Apple Podcasts, soon to be on Spotify. Thank you so much, and I will see you again. Have a great week.